Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Such a Wild, a.k.a. Coach Bird, and I'm the host of the BYRDCAGE Show. Cousin Tracy.
What's up?
We are back at it. I know we've been missing in action for a little bit, but we are back at it. Trust me, we did not go anywhere. Episode 127. Very special guest, you know what I'm saying? This is long overdue right here, you know what I'm saying? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you know what I'm saying, we were supposed to done this. You were supposed to be here in the cage already. And I remember one time, I forgot who I had on, even if I remember, I wouldn't put the name out there. But I think I got a text from my guy over here, something to the effect like, really? Like, they got on the cage, we got in the cage before me, you know what I'm saying? Like, my bad. But good things happen to those that wait, and here we are. So today, episode 127, special guest, sitting on the couch in the cage, our friend, Coach Mike Ricci. What's good, bro?
How you doing, man? Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We definitely appreciate you taking some time out, hopping on, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, we're going to get right into it, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get right into it. For those that know him, you're going to know some more things about him. And for those that don't know him, you're going to get to know him, you know what I'm saying? So let's talk about where it all started, you know what I'm saying? Let the folk know where you're from.
Wow. Well, went to Camden Catholic High School. After high school, played at Ursinus College for 1 year. After my freshman year, transferred to Rutgers in Camden, and was assigned to played basketball there, and was assigned to give this guy the ball when we played in college. So played there for a couple years with Setch. Had a good experience there, and that's where we first met each other. I met Coach Ackles, met Coach Carmichael there, and then just from there, I've always been a basketball guy from high school and playing in college, and just had the itch to start coaching.
That's what's up. Now we're going to go back. Let's rewind that. Because, you know what I'm saying?
He found out some stuff last week.
Exactly. I found some things, you know what I'm saying? These two went to Camden Catholic together.
Yes, we did.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I'm going to let her talk for a little bit.
So, I went to Camden Catholic with Michael Ricci. My god brother, Stacy Threadgill, him and Michael Ricci played for Coach Crawford together. I played on the girls' squad. Mike was the hot guy. Mike was the guy that black, white, and Spanish was trying to holler at him. So, we had this like little clique. John McCullough was part of our little clique. We had this little clique. It was like football team, basketball team. And I kind of was in the clique, kind of the only girl because of Stacy. Mike and Stacy really close. I used to shoot my shot at Mike, but I don't know. But I did tell Setch, it was still a colored thing back then, and I don't know if he wanted to mess with the swirl at the time. But I'm telling you, Mike Ricci, the man, was definitely the man. He started out being the man, and the smile was award-winning then. So
Oh my God!
There it is.
Listen, I told Seth. Seth was like, "Yo, Mike Ricci coming through." I said, "Yeah, that's my boy." He was like, "No. How do you know Mike?" I said, "Dog, we all went to Camden Catholic."
Yeah.
I said, and him and Stacy kind of was like,
I love Stacy.
Stacy, they was like their crew because they came in as
Stacey,
freshmen. Norman Austin, and Dallas Morgan.
Dallas Morgan, yeah.
And they came in as freshmen. Then they immediately went, like sophomore year, went straight to varsity, and they was like the crew. But
yeah, that's a great story. Oh my God!
Hey, you find out some things on the BYRDCAGE, baby.
Right.
You know
Mike, the original white chocolate.
At Catty Cat, I was Crawford, right? I played
at
Crawford.
Yeah, played there with them. Stacy had left, I think.
We left our senior year, and we came to high.
And then Dallas and Norman stayed, but we were all friends. They were at my house. We hung out all the time. They were just good people and great teammates. And every once in a while we catch up and talk to them. But they're good people.
Yeah, and with what he said about Rutgers Camden when we played together, he did a great job of getting me the ball.
That was the job. I knew my job.
So we definitely appreciated that. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. So you graduated from Rutgers?
I graduated from Rutgers.
Okay.
Yep.
What year did you come out? I came out in 94.
So I came out the year
Oh, you probably
before.
came before that
93.
93. Yep. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yep. So after we
But they
graduated,
gave you a COVID year, such. How was you? How was you?
come on, see, why we got?
I'm confused. The math ain't mathing. We're like a year behind you.
Why we got to bring that up?
What you got a COVID year in '95?
You sound like my dad. Remember, my dad was like,
somehow.
when my sister got there as a freshman, you know what I'm saying? She was like, that's a shame. Your sister that caught you in college. So I was like,
Let me go and get this done.
I went to Lehigh first.
We know
I went to
that.
Lehigh first, got kicked out. Then I had to do a year of, when you can't take full credits, non-matriculate, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was another year for that. You know what I'm saying? And then I was able to be a full-time student at Rutgers.
Whoa, he got a COVID year, y'all.
A COVID year before COVID. You know what I'm saying?
My bad. Let's get into
Yeah,
this.
this is not about me.
I was confused because Mike was all like, "Oh yeah, I'm out of there." And 90,
Got there before me. You know?
Yeah, I'm like,
got there before me, graduated before me. Like, we got there after me,
but I
graduated
know
before
we
me.
younger than you.
Right.
That's why I'm like,
Like, how that happens? You know what I'm saying? Oh man! So, when you graduated, what was the plan? Like,
Well, I
did
always
you know, or
Yeah, well, I knew in high school I always wanted to teach and coach.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's what I knew I wanted to do. So I went to school to be a teacher, and then I was fortunate I was teaching an alternative school up in Willingboro.
Okay.
And I was coaching at Cinnaminson as a freshman coach. Actually, I got my first start, I should say, at Gateway as a JV coach.
Okay.
A friend of mine knew someone that they needed a JV coach. I interviewed. I was 22 at the time. And then, I was teaching up there and I was coaching. And then I had an opportunity through my connection with Lenny, who was coaching down at Paulsboro. And he said to me, I'm leaving. I think he was going to
Probably
Pennsauken. And if you want the job, you can have it. So I was still teaching in Willingboro, interviewed for the job at Paulsboro. I mean, I didn't think I was going to get it. I was 23.
Right. That's crazy.
And so I just, I interviewed for it and I wound up getting it. And then once, after my first year when we won, they gave me a job.
Right.
Of course, right? And then I taught down there for 6 years. So that kind of started my whole coaching.
And you were there for 8 years, right?
I was there for 8 years.
Okay.
I taught for 6.
Okay.
And
Now, the crazy thing is, though, that people might not know, you know what I'm saying, is that you're the youngest in the history of the NJSI AA to win a state title. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
It's crazy, and I was very, very, very lucky. Very lucky.
what year was that?
95,
Who was on the
96.
team?
Kevin Harvey.
Yeah.
Well, there you
And
go.
that's
enough.
But I also had guys like James Johns, Timmy Robinson, guys that they were all. I had 5 senior starters.
Okay.
So, just a quick story. When I got the job, we all know Lenny, and we all love him.
Rest in
right?
peace.
Rest
Coach
in peace.
Carmichael.
That's right.
That's my guy.
He is one of the greatest people you ever meet.
I agree.
So he calls me up and says, "You want the job?" I interview. I get the job. So we go to TGI Fridays. He's like, "Let's go out. We'll eat. I have to tell you about the team. You know who's on the team, what you're going to do." So takes out a piece of paper. We're sitting at Fridays. We're going through the whole thing and talking about what we need to do. And he's eating, drinking. You know, Lenny's just eating, drinking. I'm 23. I have a 1-year-old kid.
Right.
I got about like $10 in my bank account. So the check comes, and he looks at me and he goes, "I ain't paying for that shit. I just gave you a state championship team." That's exactly what he said to me. I had to call my dad. Bring some money up. This guy drank and ate over $100 worth of stuff. Didn't he? And if you know Lenny, you know that story is 100% true.
100%. I'm sure.
And so he along with Bob Frederick, the AD, they gave me that opportunity and it changed my life. I met people like yourself and met hundreds and hundreds of kids that I was able to coach and hopefully be a positive influence to. And I met some great people along the way. So very lucky to have that team and those kids.
That's what's up.
So what do you actually teach?
I don't teach anymore. So
What did you teach?
I taught kindergarten.
Oh, shit, get out of here.
I did.
I wouldn't have expected that.
I
wouldn't
taught
expect
4
that.
years of kindergarten and 2 years of 6th grade.
I wasn't.
Maybe I should be asked about that experience. How was that? Jesus.
That was You know, can you imagine me standing at the front of the class talking about ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and what's the weather like?
What's the weather like? Oh man.
Yeah, so I took any job they gave me, and they gave me kindergarten. So,
and you went back though, right? Then you go back to the state championship.
And then my last year we went back.
Okay.
Yeah, my last year we went back, and we had Russell Carter and those guys.
Okay.
And we lost at the buzzer. And then after that, I'd stepped down because I was having a baby. I was getting married. So took 3 years off, and then went to Haddon Heights to volunteer.
Now, were you the head coach? Were you the head coach at Gateway for a second, or
so?
No?
When I went to after Paulsboro, I went to Haddon Heights for 3 years to volunteer, and then I went to Gateway.
Then you
for
went to
3
Gateway.
years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How was that? Because you don't really hear about Gateway basketball often.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
so I had no intentions of doing it, and about a month before the season started, the athletic director called me and said, we need a coach, and I knew you were coaching at Paulsboro and you're at Haddon Heights. Can you come over and coach? The 2 years prior, they had only won 2 games in
that's
2
what
years.
I haven't really heard.
And so I was really hesitant in doing it.
Right.
But I wanted to get back in, so I took one of the assistant coaches with me with Haddon Heights, Tim McDonald, who's actually the head coach now. And I took him with me, and he was my JV coach. And the first year we won 3 games and beat Paulsboro, which was pretty cool. Second year we won 7 games, and then we won 9.
Okay.
And then the year after, then I left to go to Haddon Heights. Timmy took over, and they made the playoffs, which for Gateway was,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't really hear about it.
But it was a great experience. The kids were good. They wanted to get better. They were, they came to practice. They played hard for me, so it was a good experience. Yeah.
And then how do we get back to Heights?
So the coach before I got there was let go. I live in Haddon Heights, and for me, once a job was open, I applied right away. And I was fortunate. I was going up against it was a pretty good job to have at the time. But I was going to get some pretty good coaches, and I wound up getting the position. Joe Cramp, the athletic director, called me, and I lived right next to the high school, like a house away. So being in the community. And then having gone through what I went through the last 6 years is a blessing and a curse to live in the town that you coach in. But I was fortunate to be there. And it's a unique place, Haddon Heights, because they have the talent from the 3 towns when I got there, which was Haddon Heights, Lawnside, and Barrington. And then Merchantville came in, which helped us the last 5 years. But we got the leftovers.
Right.
All the good, all the basketball players were at Camden Catholic, Eustis, and Paul Six. We always had 1 or 2 starters on every team there. Right. So we took the leftovers and we just did the best we could with them.
I mean, shit, you did great. I don't know if you remember this. I still remember this to this day.
I know what you're gonna say.
And when we was having him on, it just came rushing back. I was like, so I gotta tell the story. You know what I'm saying? So this is when we had, and you never hear this at Pensauken, we had Boo and Hugh transfer from Camden High after they're coming off of a state title appearance. They come over. I got Frankie Smalls, came back from Trenton Catholic. You know what I'm saying? So we get off to a hot start. You know what I'm saying? Undefeated at the time. Here comes my boy Mike Ricci in Haddon Heights coming up in the Pensauken. You know what I'm saying? We're rolling and what? It was Saturday morning game too. All right, game. We're rolling. You know what I'm saying? Moving up in the rankings in South Jersey. Good game, great game, going back and forth. My man Marcus Jones, who was he was the glue. You know what I'm saying? I forgot where he went on a football scholarship, but he was just like the glue of that team that kept us together. So he gets hurt. He can't finish the game. They fight back. We go to overtime. We lose in overtime. Because I remember sitting in my little office after that game, kids, everybody going, crowd going, everybody going. I'm just sitting in my office like, damn. And to the point, my dad came in the office like, yo, you got to suck that up. You lost. All right, let's go.
Before the game, we were at a practice the day before, we were like, damn, we got to go play Pensauken because you guys were so good. And we were just, as a coaching staff, sometimes you go into games, you always prepare yourself to win, but you understand what you're up against. And our thing was just try to keep us close to give us a chance to win. And the funny part about that story is when we won, our kids were on the floor celebrating. And, of course, the first thing I did was come over to you, right, because I've known you for so long. And I turn around, I see the kids all yelling. and screaming and jumping up and down. So I decide, like an idiot, to go run and jump in, and I tear my meniscus.
I forgot about that.
But I didn't care.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that game.
Definitely a good game though.
Yeah,
like
fun.
for people that was there, it was definitely a good one. And for it to be like a Saturday morning, I
Yeah.
don't even know, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
why we would make it a Saturday morning, but turned out to be a good game.
Yeah.
I wish I would have won. and come to think of it, we played against each other a lot. And my winning percentage
Ain't
against
too
him
good.
ain't too good. Ain't too good and whatnot. Remember, we had another good game. We was in I think maybe a showcase or something. I forgot the gym, but Jared
was at Lindenwold.
Was at Lindenwold?
Yes.
And Jared was on that your squad.
Jared was on that team.
Yeah.
Robert was on that team. Yeah,
That was another
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah, it
Came
was.
down to the end. But I lost. But I lost, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you've always done your thing, you know what I'm saying? I always followed you from afar, you know what I'm saying? The summer league has been great. I think we've been in there, like, not this year, of course, but at least 10 or more years. Been rolling in that thing with you, you know what I'm saying? Do a great job, especially because remember I had the chance to coach football that 1 year at Heights.
right.
I was
That's
down
right.
there, you know what I'm saying? And
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that 1 year. And just to see the things that you did there in the community, not just, you know, on the court and all that, but a lot of things that you did off the court, you know what I'm saying? And ain't nobody had a bad thing to say about Mike Ricci and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, that's my boy. That's my boy. How did you maintain that longevity there? Like 16 years is a long time to have coached in one place, because nowadays, you know, especially you got your players transferring and moving out.
Now coaches
coaches are not even that they're like trying to move, but it just seems like administration and stuff it's a microwave society. Even with administration, it's like, yo, you haven't won anything
New
in 3
coach
years.
coming,
We need a new one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so how did you maintain just 16 years?
You know,
what
we
I'm saying?
won a lot of games. We never won a conference because Haddonfield was always in the way. We battled with them, a few times, a few years, and we had some good teams. But I think it goes back to what you said. I didn't just coach during the season. Out of season, we were doing things with our kids, whether it was fall league, summer league, volunteer work. And part of my responsibility being out of the district was I needed to get involved somehow with the school. So on days where I had slow days at work, I would go substitute at the high school.
Oh, okay.
So I would stay in there. I would work the football games. I would go to the
So
baseball
you was
games.
always around.
I was always around.
Right.
You know, and even out of season, when I knew a kid was playing a different sport, I would shoot him a text or, just to try to stay involved. So they knew that I wasn't that 3 month a year coach.
Got you.
And then not being in the building, I felt like I had to do those things. So keeping them involved in the community and myself staying involved in the community was how I kind of built that culture there.
That's what's
So
up.
is it challenging to be a coach and not in the building with the students?
Yeah, I mean, it is, because you have to do those extra things to keep yourself involved in the school activities and things that the kids are doing outside of basketball. But, I enjoy that stuff. It helps me stay young.
Right.
Keeps me active. And it shows the kids that I'm not just invested in just them as a basketball player.
Right.
And as a person.
True indeed. Now, we got to talk about
The
it.
elephant in the room. The elephant in the room.
We got to talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
16 years, right?
Yeah.
It's a long time invested in the community, in the school. I think you're on the Hall of Fame committee or something at Haddon Heights.
I volunteered for the Hall of Fame committee.
Yeah. Like, so, you're well intertwined with that whole situation. And especially for me, just outside looking in, when I start seeing the media, the titles of the newspaper articles that
The
was
fact
coming
that you
out,
were being dragged.
Yeah, right.
That's just
facts,
simple.
Facts.
The fact that you've been dragged.
Like your character was being attacked.
And to be part of a community and a culture and an environment for so long and give of yourself, to see it turn so quickly and you being dragged.
Yeah.
That had to be like emotional turmoil.
Yeah, how that fit? Like, what was you going through? Like,
Yeah. So I'll try to. The one thing that I've done through this whole process is keep it classy.
Right.
Yeah, and you have.
Unlike some of the
right.
other people have.
Exactly.
It was just to do everything that I did for the school, the community, and the program, and to be treated that way was what hurt the most. When I went to the board meeting after they were going to let me go, and there was a bunch of coaches there, and parents were there, and kids were there. I stood in front of them and spoke to them, and I literally had to introduce myself to them because I'd never seen them before. Never had a conversation before, other than with the superintendent.
Right.
And so to be judged like that, and not given an opportunity, there's not anything in my file that would say that I did something wrong. Right. Never got in any trouble. Never got called before the board. And then, recognizing that, I take responsibility for what happened. I mean, I was home that night when everything went down and everything happened. I was with my son sitting there in the house, so it wasn't like it was a free for all. Right. And when I told them that I take responsibility for it and to look at all the things that I've done in the 16 years. You might have read that I told them I would coach for free.
Yeah. I was about to mention that. Like all the stuff that you stuff that you put in place.
Yeah. One of the things that I worked with the autistic kids at Haddon Heights. So we ran it. They don't have a camp. They don't have anything for those kids. So I put together a camp for them. And I told them, donate my salary to those kids. Buy them something for their room or whatever they need. I'll take a class. I'll be on probation. Whatever you want me to do, for a first time, like if you want to call it an offense.
Right.
And then knowing about it in October, and then allowing me to coach the season, and then when I sat in that meeting with the superintendent and the principal and the athletic director, and they all looked at me, and whenever I hear these words now, I cringe. They all looked at me and they said, everything you did for us and the school, don't worry, we have your back. So when anybody says that to me now, you can forget. I walk right away from it. But I will say one thing about the athletic director at Haddon Heights. He is by far the best athletic director I've ever worked with. He has been extremely supportive, both publicly and when I interviewed with a job at Highland, he called over for me.
That's what's up. And
when you have people like that, it makes me feel like, this is personal between people on administration, and it's not necessarily a reflection of who I am. So.
That's a good way to put it. But
definitely.
See, I'm going.
Remember what I said. I'm gonna keep it.
No. I'm gonna be.
If I said what I wanted to say,
I'm gonna be the person that I usually am.
Go ahead.
Just look at it like this.
Yeah.
That ship sailed. God closed that door for a reason. Like that door was closed for a reason. Maybe you was doing entirely too much and not focusing on the actual purpose and why you were in that place, right? So he shut that door, and boom. Not only did a door come open, and a window.
Yeah.
And now you're here. So that's
Well, when you're going through it, as you know, it's tough to look at it that way. But when as time goes on, and then this opportunity with Highland came about, you sit back and reflect, and that's what some people have said. They'll appreciate a little bit more what I did while I was there.
Because you never miss nothing until it's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Never miss your water till your well run dry.
That's right.
And it's cool. You did what you were supposed to do for those periods and those times. Now it's time to move on.
Yep.
On to something different avenue, different perspective, different space, different energy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be fun.
Now, before I ask you how that opportunity happened, the Highland opportunity, because I did read some of the articles, you know what I'm saying? I had to see what they were talking about my boy, like, yo, what's going on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when he reads the articles, he sends them to me.
I saw one where you were quoted the saying, I'm going to paraphrase, I'm done. That's when I'm not looking for no other opportunities, I'm done. And now you're the new head coach at
That was a lie.
So how did that happen?
Yeah. So as I said, I was done. I didn't want to coach anymore because I just I didn't have any trust in like administration and schools. True. Because as you and I spoke earlier, like things have changed so much.
True.
With basketball and the kids and administration and school and parents, and I was just like, I'm finished. And so what I initially did was I called Jeff Cohen and applied to be a referee.
Okay. Okay, did you?
Yes.
It's funny that you said that because now that I think about this, he was on Antoine's show, you and Coach Bowles, Rich.
That's right.
And I believe at the end of that, you said, when I'm done, you just said, whenever I'm done coaching, I think I'm going to the dark side. I'm going to be
Yeah.
So embarrassing. I already decided when I'm done coaching, I know what I'm going to do next because I have to stay involved. I'm going to go to the dark side, and I'm going to be an official.
Official? Are you really?
Oh,
That's what I was. Y'all heard it first. He told you.
So I went to the dark side. I talked to Jeff Cohen. I talked to Jason Lure. I was enrolled in their cadet class. I was going to be a referee. And the people that, listen, when you go through things like this, you find out who your friends are and who cares about you, right? Eric Cassidy, Jay Flanagan, yourself. People like that have reached out to me during that time, and every time there was a job opening, they were sending me a link, or they were sending me, and they weren't saying anything other than just like, here's the link.
Right.
And so Highland came about. Two jobs came about. One was at Clearview, and one was at Highland. But the Highland one was intriguing because they've always had good athletes. They always had good players, and they had a hard time keeping them. Right. And so, to me, the challenge of keeping those kids in the school and bringing them together, and for the seniors who I feel bad for, I'm their third coach in 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Wow.
And so they haven't had that stability.
Right.
So I met with Lisa Steele, the athletic director, who happened to be at the a few years back. She was the head basketball coach at Paul Six, the girls' coach.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And my daughter
right.
played for her freshman year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then she didn't. My daughter stopped playing. But I kind of knew Lisa a little bit, so I reached out to her and asked her to interview, and I interviewed with her and Coach Hines, and a couple other administrators or teachers. It went really, really well, and when I left that interview, that fire started coming back, and I was like, "Man, I think I could do a lot with this."
Right.
And
And then the word was, "I'm not done."
Yeah,
I'm not done.
I'm not
Had
done.
to call Jeff up like, Jeff.
Yeah, so I know my dad. I said, "I'm not done yet." I said, and then I called Jeff and Jason up. I said, "Listen, if this thing pans out, I'm going to go back."
Right.
I think they were like, "Well, that's where you should
be anyway."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so. Like, can you imagine me refereeing?
Yo, I'd have looked up like, Mike.
Yeah.
Like, I better get some calls in this game.
Yeah.
Now, how does it feel? Because there's new programs, like starting a new situation. You know what I'm saying?
It's harder than I thought. Yeah, it's great. The kids are great. We practice a couple days a week. We're playing the summer league practice. We get like 20, 25 kids.
Okay.
I think they're all excited about the opportunity and bringing somebody in, a new coach, and kind of getting a fresh start for both of us.
Right. True.
But it's hard because you come from someplace where you've kind of established a culture.
Right. That's what I'm.
And now you have to come in and
reestablish
a culture that hasn't been there.
Right.
and create a culture.
Yeah.
And that's exciting and that's fun.
Because Highland kind of was more of a football.
Football, wrestling,
wrestling.
Yeah.
Baseball every once in a while.
Yeah. So you kind of didn't.
But they're good kids, and so they have second year athletic director, I think a third year principal, and they're really changing the culture of the school.
Nice.
And I'm just happy to be a part of it and happy.
And I saw you post the staff.
Oh man,
you know what I'm saying? Was it Julian, right?
Julian Diaz.
I think that's Jabril's nephew. You know Jabril, the barber.
Yes.
Julian. I think that's his nephew.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys. So Drew Wilcox played for me at Haddon Heights, and Julian, and they reached out to me when I got the job, and they wanted to start. They wanted to get involved in coaching.
Okay.
And the first question was, "Are you sure?"
Right. You sure you want to do this?
And they're like, "Absolutely." And I was just like, and that's the one thing. Like, somebody gave me an opportunity when I was 23. So there's guys like Kai Massaquoi, who played at Haddon Heights. He wanted to get involved in coaching, so I brought him on to help out. He's head coach at Overbrook, Donnie Lang.
Donnie. Yep.
He's doing a phenomenal job over there.
Job.
Like I knew like he wanted to get. So to me, I was just trying to pass it forward, right? I mean, somebody did something for me, so I want to pass it forward to other people. So
you're creating a coaching tree.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying.
I talk about that all the time.
Building this coaching tree.
But like you said, though, I mean, somebody had to give me an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So it's only right to pay for it. You know what I'm saying?
I follow, and when I see Donnie over at Overbrook. He wins a couple conferences. He's winning games. You know, to me, it makes me feel good that he's out there doing his own thing. So, and and now Timmy, you know, Timmy's taken over for me at Haddon Heights, took over for me at Gateway, went to Cabrini. Like to see him, you know, I wish it ended differently, but you know, I'm happy for him. You know, so that's what it's about, right?
Are you bringing the summer league to Highland? Are you gonna let it stay put? Maybe start another one, or are you going to?
You know, I think that summer league started with 12 teams, and now we're up to 45.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I would like to keep it there, and I think my relationship with Tim will allow me to do that, right? So we'll keep it there. Maybe do a fall league or something over at Highland to keep that involved. But yeah, we'll probably keep it there.
Just let me know. Just let me know. I ask for that invoice and get that check to you. You know what I'm saying? Now, as we start to wrap this up a little bit, I'm sure, you know what I'm saying, you know how things spread, you know what I'm saying, everybody has a backstory, everybody thinks they know something, you know what I'm saying. How do we get the parents of your kids at Highland, you know, how do we get them on board and let them know, like, listen, I'm the guy for this program.
And let them know who you are versus what they've heard.
What you've been hearing, that's not me, you know what I'm saying? Like how do you go about?
Well, you know, in the summertime, so we're playing in the summer, and I've introduced myself to the parents that come to watch the games. I haven't been questioned about it, and they're all excited that I'm here with some, you know, my assistant from Haddon Heights came with me. But you got to be honest with people, right? I mean, we all make mistakes. It's part of learning. It's part of growing up. These kids will make mistakes. I'll make mistakes. We all make mistakes, and to not learn from it would be tragic. So you learn from the things that you've done in the past. I think they'll start to see the things that I do for the school, the kids, and then they'll get an idea over time, you know, what kind of person I am. Yeah, what kind of person I am. And I think if they look at it as a whole and what I did at Haddon Heights outside of basketball, they'll realize they're getting, you know, good character coach and someone that cares about their kids. So the crazy part is the craziest part is when this whole thing got started because of anonymous letters. Right. That, I mean, later I found out, like, I know who sent them, and it is what it is at this point. But yeah, it's just it's a crazy story. It's funny, like my first game I ever coached at Haddon Heights, I got thrown out in the second quarter. And then to have my career ended at Haddon Heights the way it did.
Right.
And then the good stuff all happened in between.
We forget all about that stuff. And that's the reason why I said what I said is my daughter says if something was to transpire, people are going to forget all that you've done. Stuff.
Yeah.
All the stuff that you still do. She says, let's just take it to the party.
That's a good move.
Now, with everything that's happened, how does that help you grow as a coach? You know what I'm saying? Like
I think it's to me it's helped me grown as a person, just knowing who I can trust.
Gotcha.
You know, again, like I said earlier, when you go through those things, you find out who your friends are, you find out who the people are that care about you, and that's what's come out for me. And then as far as coaching goes, I've calmed down a lot over the years. When we were coaching against you guys at Pennsauken, I was an animal. I was crazy.
You and me both.
Yeah. But I think I've kind of mellowed out. Like, I know that, you know, when you first start coaching, you probably would agree that when you first start coaching, and I watch all these younger guys coaching, and they think it's win.
Right.
And yeah, winning's important, but building the culture, developing the kids so that when they leave your program and leave that school are good people. That's kind of my mindset now when I work with kids. You know, I think we'll be competitive at Highland. We'll have good teams, but I want to make sure that developing good people with good character.
And that's what we talk about all the time here at the Birdcage, that athletics is actually the gateway or the avenue to help develop good people. People that have character, people that have good sportsmanship, people that have great attitudes, people that know how to face adversity. That's the whole key, and a lot of the key to being an athlete. You know what I mean? So I have a grandbaby who's starting high school. And my daughter and I discussed, and we made a choice on our high school. And, you know, being that I was a baller from this area, and a lot of people know me for being a good baller, female baller.
So humble, so humble.
So they're like, why would you do that? And I said, the ball stopped for me my freshman year when I blew my shoulder out.
Yeah.
Thank God I came home, was able to become a cop at 20, 21 years old. Basketball stopped. I had to figure something out, and I had that avenue. I need somebody that's going to coach my grandbaby not only on the court, but help her become a good person.
Yeah.
And like when she leaves to go play, every time she goes, I'll walk out the door. If I can't make her game, I say, hey, remember, be a good teammate today. You know, be a good teammate today. I don't care about how many points. Because I usually never ask her because I know she does score.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's today? How were you? Did you get it? You know, were you a good teammate? Did you cheer up, uplift your teammates? And that's the key with being sports. People forget that.
Yeah.
They want championships. They want wins. They want ring. What about creating these kids to be sustainable young adults?
After.
Well, that's what the most rewarding part of what's happened to me is, you know, since I left, the two kids that are volunteering for me are my old players at Haddon Heights. The last summer league game, I had a couple kids that are currently on the Haddon Heights team and guys that graduated come out and watch the Highland team play. So to me, when I see them, it just makes me, it just fills my heart up because it tells me that I did have an impact, right? And,
a positive impact.
Yeah, and teaching kids how to handle hard better. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Like, they can't. Saying no to a kid today is much different than it was 10 years ago, or God forbid when we were in school. You know, and so, you know, teaching them that life ain't fair. It ain't going to go your way all the time, and how are you going to handle it, right? And that's how we're trying to teach them. So,
and when you just told your age when you became a cop, right? Got me thinking when you said earlier that the math wasn't adding up. I'm like, wow. I came out 88 from high school. They graduated 89, a year after me. This guy over here is winning state titles at 23. She's starting her career at 21, and I'm still in college. I'm still in college. So,
that's great.
Yeah, something the math ain't mathing.
You know what? But I think the whole concept, and back to there, the whole concept for us here at the Birdcage is to bring people on to not just we're involved in sports and ex-athletes, but to always drive in to the young people that watch us that at some point the field is no longer going to be 100 yards. The court is no longer going to have no three-point line. Right. The ball is going to stop bouncing. We have to understand that you have to use, number one, athletics, if you're good enough, even if you're not, as a gateway, a boat to education, right? Yeah. You're using it to sail through education because you want to get education for free, right? And make sure you get the education because when all those different things happen, and maybe you don't become a coach, or maybe you don't go to the next level outside of college, what happens next?
That's right.
So that's why we bring people on the Birdcage, because everybody that sits on our couch was some type of athlete at some point. Yeah. Most of them collegiate athletes. And that's what people find, I didn't know that person went D1. I didn't know that. Because now they're council people, charge of a nonprofit, a principal,
superintendent.
Superintendent. Yeah, so and teachers and, coaches, and we try to bring you guys on so people and parents can understand.
Yeah.
Use athletics as an avenue to get the education.
And it's okay to make mistakes.
Right.
It's okay to fail.
Right.
It's the only way we grow.
Happen.
Right.
So how we respond to that. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And that's what athletics does, is teach you how to respond.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, the state of high school basketball now, because you've been in this thing for forever. You know what I'm saying? I've been in it for a minute now. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you've been around it for forever as well. It's just so different from back then to now. Like they talk about the transfer portal in college. You got high school kids transferring all over the place. Like how do you feel about that?
And now you can, right?
I mean, now you can. They give you a free move.
Yeah, give you a free move. Yeah.
I mean, not to sound like the old guy, like yelling and screaming, but when I first started coaching, when I was at Paulsboro, you had a team that played together. They played with their They're friends. They had pride in their school, and they were 5 guys that played together, and they played hard for one another. But as the time has gone on, those 5 started becoming 3, and then becoming 2, and then becoming everybody wants theirs.
Right. Yep.
So for me, the hardest part of coaching is when they go off in the summertime and in the fall and they go play AAU and they're trying to get theirs, to bring them back to understand the team concept, right? You know that.
Yep.
I mean, that's the hardest to me.
I agree.
We all have this X's and O's, and we can all throw the defenses out there.
Right.
But if you can, the successful teams are the ones that come together. Right? So
That's
what I've seen as the biggest difference. And as far as the transfer stuff goes, the NJSA is a mess.
Yeah, they are.
And so like they they're allowing things to happen that shouldn't.
Right.
They say they're monitoring things that
But
they're probably not.
They're not.
And so for me at my age and coach as long as I have, you just try to do it the right way.
Right.
You do it the right way. You try to be a positive influence to the kids and coach the kids that you have. And that's it.
It's so funny. I seen something on social media, and I had a conversation with my granddaughter and her crew. A kid committed to middle school.
Oh, wow.
Committed to a middle school basketball team.
Ain't that crazy? It's crazy.
And I said, first of all, it's middle school. Little man probably might not even grow.
Right.
They don't know what high school. What the fuck?
That's crazy. Right.
It's crazy.
You
That's
might
it.
say
but-
5'2" the rest of
Yeah,
his
right,
life.
exactly.
But
You know
that's
what
the
I'm saying?
state.
That's the
It's
state.
starting there.
I mean, the
It's just a
transfer
team.
stuff too. You're talking about if I wasn't, thank God, I'm so fortunate to start at Paulsboro, coaching there, who have great athletes, Group 1.
Yeah.
Listen, I said it before. You probably say the same thing. If you're good enough,
They'll
these
come see
guys
you.
will find you.
They'll find you.
You know, and
I say it all the time. I just
All the
said
time.
it.
You
I
just
said
saying it the other
it
day.
don't matter where you play, it's
Yeah.
how you
I mean,
play.
Russell went to Notre Dame. Kevin Harvey was a Division I football player. They've had Division I players down there, and they're a tiny little Group 1 school.
Right.
My nephew went to Bucknell and went to the league. Julian Davenport.
Oh, yeah, Julian.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's like
come
my
on.
nephew. His dad was my sergeant forever. He went to Paulsboro, played basketball and football,
Right.
landed in Bucknell, and landed in Houston, Texas.
Just put the work in.
Just put the work in. That's what kids don't understand.
Put the
Just
work
put
in.
the work
It'll
in.
happen.
And
Yep.
it'll happen. That's what's up. Future plans. Just keep, being official after you're done. You know what I'm saying? Did you ever think about going college-wise? Because I think about that from time to time, especially when I'm starting to get to that retirement age from teaching. You know what I'm saying? I would like to continue to coach, Lord willing. But I always, I've applied a couple spots.
I had a chance.
But,
I had a chance.
I was always like a finalist, but I don't have. My thing is they're like, Coach, you was right there, but this guy has college. Well, how am I supposed to get college experience if you don't give me a chance to get college experience? You know what I'm saying? So, have you ever thought about coaching college?
I thought about it years ago
Okay.
when Russell was a senior and he was getting recruited by Notre Dame. I was dealing with the assistant coach Solomon for the recruiting period, and we became close. We became friendly. And when he officially went to Notre Dame, we had talked on the phone, and he asked me the same question. He goes, "Would you be interested in coaching college?" I said, I like high school basketball. I just like being able to influence these kids and being, a positive influence on them. And, he's like, that's great. And we were talking about other things. 2 months later, I'm on my honeymoon.
Okay.
And I'm sitting on the couch watching ESPN.
Okay.
And my new wife's in the bathroom taking a shower. And I'm watching TV, and I see Coach Solomon gets the job at St. Bonaventure. So I call him. And I go, "Hey, Coach, congratulations."
Right.
I can't believe it. I didn't know anything about it. I go, "If you need an assistant coach, let me know." He goes, "I already asked you."
Oh, wow.
He shut that
I
window
asked
quick.
you without asking you.
Right.
I wanted to see where your head at, because if I told you I was getting this job,
Right, you would have.
You would've went right in on
let's
it.
go. Yeah.
So I hung up the phone, and I sat there like, and she comes out of the bathroom. She goes, "What happened?" I go,
I got fired.
"You don't want to know."
I did some dumb shit.
My son's 12 years old, and he plays basketball, and that was one of the hardest things about getting let go at Heights, because I wanted to coach him.
Gotcha.
How old are your children?
So my oldest one is 30, and I'm a grandpa. So she's got little Bryson. And Emily, my daughter Emily's just going to be a sophomore at East Carolina. Okay. My other daughter is a junior at Cam Catholic, Sophia. And my son Nick's going to be in 7th grade.
Nice.
Oh, so you got 3 and 1?
Nice.
You kept going for that boy?
It's rough, bro.
I stopped that too. I was like, just say, I'm gonna mess around. I have 4 girls out here. Right. If I keep going, I'm gonna go to 2-piece. That's what's up, Mike. We definitely appreciate you hopping on, man. You know what I'm saying?
So much
this was
for having
fun.
me,
this was great.
Wish you luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
And I don't coach anymore, and I kind of try to go to people's games, so I'll come to a Highland game.
Good.
I'm trying to. We're trying to hook something up.
Yeah, we were just talking about maybe playing.
You could kill
2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
Make it easy for you.
Try to see if I can help out try to catch him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just like, sheesh.
So when
this guy.
Listen, when West Hampton plays Kip, I knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Like I try to get to see people coaching.
That's right.
Definitely. But yeah, man, we appreciate you, man. I know you're gonna do great there. You know what I'm saying? Highland, you're very blessed. You know what I'm saying? Great guy. Even better coach. So y'all are good. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, man. Thank you,
good, man. And to say this too, I do like how you handled it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But you've definitely been a class act. As I mean, I don't expect anything else, but you definitely handled that well. I know. Behind the scenes and at home and when nobody's listening, you might have had some choice things to say, but publicly, you know what I'm saying, you kept it, you know what I'm saying. And that's why, good peoples and good things are going to happen.
Telling you, he was always the charmer.
Okay.
Come on, Tracy.
You heard it here first. Tracy got him over here turning red.
I
Listen.
That's what's up. I ain't really got no shout outs today. Just my man, thank you again for coming on. Tracy, there is no BYRDCAGE show without you, so thank you for everything you do and putting up with my crazy schedule, you know what I'm saying? Knocking these things out and getting these things done because your schedule was crazy as well, you know what I'm saying? So
I just drove in from VA.
Yeah, right. Straight here, you know what I'm saying? Would have came for boxing if the weather wasn't threatening, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So just appreciate you, cuz, you know what I'm saying? Our viewers out there, just continue to like, share, comment, view, spread the word, you know what I'm saying? Just let everybody know, check out the BYRDCAGE. If you have some suggestions, some people you would like to see on the couch, just hit us up. Merchandise, you know what I'm saying? We keep the merch. It's t-shirt season, so I got those tees if you need them, you know what I'm saying? Just hit me up and we'll get that right out to you. What you got, cuz?
Hey, I don't have much other than to say, like Coach Ricci said, sometimes when adversity comes your way, you have to keep it classy. You don't always have to respond. You don't always have to snap back. Sometimes you just got to let things handle themselves and keep it classy. So with that for today or for the week, it's going to be keep it classy.
Keep it classy. I like that. Keep it classy. Well, for my man Mike Ricci, appreciate you.
Thanks so much.
A lovely cousin Tracy. I am Sexuayo, a.k.a. Coach Bird. I'm the host of the BYRDCAGE Show, and we'll talk to you soon.
It was a stone groove, my man.